Well, hello, creatives, community, and kind folks. Welcome to this episode of RPG with DBJ. Of course, I am your host, and all of you who are able to participate live are the co hosts of the show. And today we're going to talk about, well, my black hole and your black hole as well. Maybe you have a black hole in your heart. Some of us have black holes as a with relatively different amounts of escape velocity. But today we are going to talk about sci-fi black holes and kind of like what we can use them for in tabletop role playing. Now, of course, we love to take um, our creative ideas, take them from tangentially from real world experiences and science and histories and things like that, and including the problematic things, the parts that kind of don't fit traditionally into our gaming experience and heck, even our other creative endeavors. But yeah. Escape, no. Although I think most of us with a black hole would prefer there to be an exit for most most matter and all the energies. No, but so we're going to describe what a black hole is and go into, and one thing we're going to stay away from, which has been up until recently very traditional in science fiction, is that a black hole is a portal to another dimension. We're not doing that. That's the realm of science fiction, and if we even want to stick with that, we've got stargates and wormholes for that kind of thing. No need to uh, fictionalize what happens when someone or something falls into a black hole. So I was like, oh yeah, thank you very much. All right, so uh, well, actually, you know what? I think this actually may look good, so I will share this out. We're going to talk about artificial black holes as well, and throw some of them out there as also. So, do. Yeah, yes, no other dimension. BS. Good. Yeah, exactly. I mean, listen, if you want to talk about space opera and fantasy, and we as human beings, uh we don't like to stick our fingers into dangerous things and come come out of it with a missing digit. We like to think that we're the first ones and brilliant and all that kind of stuff. So now we are on science.nasa.gov. Click universe, click black uh, hyphen holes, click. But anyway, that's where we're at, and there are some basics about black holes and whether we can see them. What are they? Are they the galaxy's vacuum cleaners or not? We're gonna look at that. So here are some essential black hole facts. The first one is the nearest black hole, called Gaia BH1, is about 1,500 light years away. So not too close. 1,500. That's pretty far away. Man, I don't know how long it would take. How long? I'm gonna do the math on this. How long would it take to travel 1,500 light years at see 0.1% light speed? Say if you could travel at the speed of light, it would take you 11 years, but we can't do that. Hmm. Oh, light year calculator. I did not know there was a light years. Speed of light time. Nah, we're not doing that. Okay. I only wanted a point. Only one tenth of percent. Oh well. I am with you though on that one. I am very much with you. The other dimensions cookify everything almost as bad as time travel. Yeah, and listen, even with like um time travel in other dimensions is the, I'll dare say, a it's the easy go to have a story that has zero it solves every problem but eliminates any stakes, right? If you can just time travel back to fix a thing, or go to a dimension that already has fixed the thing, or there's an infinite number of dimensions to explore whatever, eventually it gets to the point where you have so many options that the options are meaningless. There's no stakes. There's no um yeah, it's just crazy. So anyway, we've got the farthest black hole, which is about 13 billion light years away. I'm not going to read out the QSO, blah blah blah. The biggest black hole, massive black hole observed, is called TON, or Ton 618, and tips at the scales at 66 billion times the sun's mass. I wonder how big that is. The smallest lightest known black hole is only 3.8 times the sun's mass. It's paired up with a star. And then there's spaghettification, which I love scientists because sometimes they, while I get their naming of things, sometimes they get a little bit ridiculous, but it does make sense. Spaghettification, a real term that describes what happens when matter gets too close to a black hole. It's squeezed horizontally and stretched vertically, resembling a noodle. There's also spin. All black holes spin. The fastest known is the name GRS, some extra numbers, clocks in at over 1,000 rotations per second. They are particle accelerators. Monster black holes at the centers of galaxies can launch particles to near light speed. Um, Something strange, I think is kind of cool, is gravity's the same. If you replaced the sun with a black hole of the same mass, the solar system would get a lot colder, but the planets would stay in their orbits. And the last two are star booms. One type of black hole is born when massive stars run out of fuel and explode in a supernova. Novae. And then lastly, not so rare. Most Milky Way sized galaxies have monster black holes at their centers. Ours is called Sagittarius A, pronounced A star, pronounced A star, and it's 4 million times the sun's mass. Of course, they talk about finding black holes. Theoretically, no, technically, I'm sorry, not theoretically. Technically, you can't see a black hole, but they are detectable by all of the other energies and things that are happening around them. Uh, yeah, black holes don't emit or reflect light, making them effectively invisible to telescopes. Scientists primarily detect and study them based on how they affect their surroundings. So black holes can be surrounded by rings of gas and dust called accretion disks, and we do have ourselves a I would dare say a map of a black hole. And I like this little part right here. Black holes are not wormholes. They don't provide shortcuts between different points in space or portals to other dimensions or universes. And cosmic vacuum cleaners. Black holes don't suck in other matter. From far away and from far enough away, their gravitational effects are just like those of other objects of the same mass. And I think those two are our like fantasy versions um of like what a black hole is, that it somehow is sucking everything into it. Now I know you guys can't read the this stellar map of a black hole, but just rest assured that, let's see, can we make this bigger? Let's see if we can make the really can't see it for you guys, but um uh this is a map of a black hole. And see if I let's see, will it, no, it's not letting me do it. Nope, nope, nope. Okay, so this map of a black hole, let's see if it's showing up on the screen. Okay, because we've had some little problems. This details where the accretion disk is, which I think is the accretion disk, the relativistic jet, and the event horizon, and the photon sphere. I think all of that is going to lend us to creating some good stories here. So, for example, the part that we visually see in these the new images of black holes, basically a big black sphere and then surrounded by this disk of light, a disk of superheated gas, the accretion disk, whirls around a black hole at immense speeds, producing electromagnetic radiation such as X rays, optical, infrared, and radio that reveal the black hole's location. Some of this material is doomed to cross the event horizon, while other parts may be forced out to create jets. And um, unlike what we think of the black holes being a vacuum cleaner, where um, it's not like sliced bread where one slice of bread gets sucked in and then the very next slice of bread gets sucked in and then it just tumbles down one slice at a time of from the open bag of sliced bread. Instead, what's happening is it's like taking a brick, and as each molecule of that brick gets broken apart and shattered and spaghettified, basically both slammed together and then stretched out as every single particle and atom and subatomic particle gets pulled into the singularity, it releases energy. So every um, all matter, when you break apart its molecular bonds, will release energy, and that massive amount of energy that's released becomes part of the accretion disk that escapes. The other parts of that don't escape the horizon get sucked into it, but the light, the radiation, the radio waves, and all that kind of stuff, some of this stuff gets slung back out. Um, which brings us to the relativistic jet, that little beam of energy that comes out to the tops and bottoms of these things. Is When a black hole feeds on stars, gas, or dust, the meal produces jets of particles and radiation blasting out from the black hole's poles at near light speed. They can extend for thousands of light years into space. And that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And of course, we have the photon sphere. Although the black hole itself is dark, photons are emitted from nearby hot plasma in jets or an accretion disk. And in the absence of gravity, these photons would travel in straight lines. But just outside the event horizon of a black hole, gravity is strong enough to bend their paths so that we see a bright ring surrounding roughly circular dark shadow. So that extremely bright um, disk that we see rolling around it is actually made up of light being bent around the black hole. It's literally the light wants to escape, and it is like surfing the event horizon. Some of the light is escaping and we see it, and the other light's getting sucked in and we don't see it. That's why it's pure black against the background. And I think in science fiction, there's always been the idea of using black holes as. Ooh, what happened to my chat? There we go. Facebook, yeah, that's right. We can't read. It's so bad. I didn't mean it that way. No, I believe you couldn't read it because of unless you're on a big widescreen television, you really can't read what it's saying here. Maybe I could even make it a little bit bigger. That works a little bit. My face is covered up because you don't need to see that ugly mug. Caligulus, I like your comment. Yeah, I wish there were other dimensions, but if there were, I'm afraid they would suck too. As a matter of fact, I would bet with infinite dimensions, most of them would suck. Yeah, yeah. I'm with shitlords here. Destroys the suspension of belief. I agree, because at a certain point, when you have infinite choice, that's no choice at all. It's like it just becomes you, you just fix it. It's the character, the Flash, running through time. It's like, well, couldn't you just go back and change the very thing that you failed in the first place till you fix it? You could just actually take a nap and wait for humanity to destroy itself and just go back and fix it over and over and over again. Yes. Oh, I hear you, Drew. Oh man. Yep, yep, yep. I'm You're so bad. Caligulus, yeah. And Shice says, yeah, good point. Most of the other dimensions of Planescape do in fact suck. Yeah, yeah, they sure do. most of them you really don't want to visit, and the ones you do want to visit are boring. Well, that's actually not true, but it kind of devolves into that. But what I love storytelling wise about black holes by describing the accretion disk and the photon sphere event horizon, basically this is a an infinite energy dynamo. Now when I say infinite, I don't really mean forever. I'm sure um, the lifespan of black holes is limited based on the amount of energy and matter that it absorbs. And I suppose you could have somebody who's nefarious or not too smart and start dumping matter into black holes to keep it going. And uh, listening to SFIA, Science and Futurism, with Isaac Arthur, uh, black holes could be farmed by finding small ones or actually lab growing black holes and dumping matter and or I guess it would have to absorb energy, by the way, by localized light, but you could dump things into it and then have it produce energies, and those energies could be harvested or siphoned. Um, and just like the talking about the 10 facts about black holes, like if our sun was replaced with a black hole of the same mass, I'm sure it'd be very tiny, but it would be expelling this kind of energy. It would be very cold, but it would create an energy dynamo. And I think in science fiction, you could get away with some place, whether it's in our own solar system or very much outside, maybe like out in Oort cloud or something, that given enough sufficient technologies, that a black hole could be created and used as an energy source. And it might even be counter to the sun. And while I believe in my in Obsidian, the setting of Obsidian Star, there isn't a black hole that isn't existent, but that is one of the existential threats. And I don't feel that the existential threat of it, like absorbing our solar system, is the threat. What I would feel is that a black hole could be created out in the Oort cloud area, thereby having enough materials to feed it. And then, like the title Obsidian Star, we have our own star, the Helios, the Copernican system, and then you'd have this supermassive black. Well, it wouldn't be supermassive, but it would be this black hole that exists out there, being fed materials, and then um, humanity itself having advanced and grown and matriculated, modified itself, devolved even. Uh, yeah. Yeah, yeah, taste. I hear you. Talk about Planescape. Yeah. You really want you actually want to visit all that Arcadia heaven shit? Yeah. I think some of those places would be kind of cool, except for the fact that like you the fear would be the I wouldn't want to leave those upper planes of Planescape. But we went through we did a pretty good deep dive in the upper planes. Most of them are self-reflective and such, but yeah, yeah, they're pretty cool. Bitopia is kind of strange with the land over top of your head. Um, I'm trying to think of some other ones. Isgard, places like that. But as an energy dynamo, I think human beings, humanity, we're not sometimes we're not the smartest. So I think harvesting the energies from a black hole and then on the hopes that you don't fall into it by accident, but standing um orbiting way outside the event horizon, I think would be kind of sweet. Um, yeah. Yeah, Caligula's is like, yeah, they won't instantly kill you. Only good thing about the upper planes, yeah, not that you can't. Well, here's the funny thing in those upper planes. Sorry, getting a little squirrely here. Is that most of the problems in the upper planes are our own fault. So even if you don't get murder killed in the upper planes, they sure do like to kick your ass down into the lower planes where you make a lot of mistakes, which kind of some of the discussions we were having about Planescape was like, well, wait a minute. If the goodly planes actually air quote benefit from the lower planes, doesn't that kind of make them um, fuel the whole good planes versus evil planes kind of concept, the law versus chaos planes? And the answer to me is like, yeah, you're kind of benefiting from these issues. It's like, we don't want you here. Go to the lower planes. And the lower planes are like, stop throwing your trash down here. We'd be a whole lot better if you stopped using us like that. And so I could imagine cults, space cults being brought up around black holes and hell, I would say even I say there might even be self-deletion cults that dump themselves into black holes. Um, I I could see prisons, threats, criminal organization escapes, basically threatening to have orbiting habitats or something where if you don't do as we say, we're just going to kick your ass out. we, we we don't worry about evacuating people out into space because we'll just dump you down and have you drift into the event horizon. Uh, yeah, life is a self deletion cult, technically. Yeah, yeah. Like I've mentioned before, the longer we extend our lives, the greater chance we have of dying. Which is a strange conundrum unto itself. That that given enough time. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it means, shit lords. Uh, I mean, given a long enough time scale, uh, all things will be destroyed, and so yeah, immortality leads to a guarantee of your destruction, which is a strange conundrum. And so I can see cults being put up around this. Of course, scientists. Maybe there are. Um, Great ways to harness the energies that come out of a black hole, whether it's like beam energy, um, uh, some kind of way to store the power that comes out of it, as well as maybe even using, I don't know, maybe there are massive, the opposite of a Dyson swarm or Dyson sphere. There may be ways to reflect like these relativistic jets of energy and the photon sphere and accretion disk to redirect that energy outwards towards your enemies. And so I could see this being used as a weapon. And if there's an ability to artificially create a black hole, it could be that there is an organization, government, or something like that that is threatening, or there's a mission to create a black hole within a uh, major city center. Like, let's say Mars, because Mars is it billions of people live on Mars in Obsidian Star, the setting. Uh, put someone activating a black hole in and around or anywhere near Mars. And when I say a black hole, I don't mean one that's planet sized. It could be small enough that it could just, destroy maybe a third of the planet, or up in orbit of the planet or something like that. And that could create a lot of problems. Now, uh, they do say black holes spin, but I don't know if black holes orbit, right? Like, I don't know if they are like, does a black hole remain static in relationship to the curvature of the universe? I don't know. It seems like they would move, because if we have a supermassive black hole in the center of our own galaxy, let's see, what is it? Uh, yeah, the our most Milky Way sized galaxies have monster black holes at their centers. Ours is called Sagittarius A star, and it's 4 million times the sun's mass. And our galaxy does orbit, like it does move. So I guess a black hole would move, but I'm not sure what would move it. Like, would our sun move a black hole? I don't know. And considering the science of it, our sun, if a black hole, I don't know, the size of Jupiter was in our own solar system, was created in our own solar system, the sun wouldn't get sucked into it, right? The event horizon literally is the boundary point between things getting sucked into it and things existing on the outside of it. So, but I could see this happening, say, like I said, out in the Oort cloud, and it could become its own With a even more advanced technology, I guess you could make your own. You could create your own solar system with a black hole as your sun, and then just orbit solid objects around it by ensuring that they are in a stable orbit, so they are both not getting pulled into it and not going away from it. And then you just create an orbit, so you could create your own solar system. So yeah, I could see that happening. I suppose Jupiter could be turned into a black hole. Let's see. What if Jupiter became a became a let's see. Okay, so I asked the question: what if Jupiter became a black hole? The gravitational disruption would probably destroy the solar system. Yeah, as Jupiter would instantly collapse, not having nearly enough mass to be a black hole. And gravity shearing would disrupt the orbit of every other object in the solar system. So moons, planets, and whatever asteroids or comets happen to be passing probably get sucked into it. But if Jupiter collided with a black hole, I think it would just get sucked into it. Now, this answer says mm, 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 mm. If Jupiter, okay, so the question, how it was worded is what would happen if Jupiter was suddenly replaced by a black hole with the same mass as Jupiter? Um, and some answers here. If Jupiter were replaced by a black hole the same mass, the solar system would not be noticeably affected. The gravitational pull of the black hole is dependent on its mass and distance. Therefore, the planet's orbits would not change. Only objects very near the event horizon of the black hole would experience significant effects. If Jupiter were replaced by a black hole with the same mass, nothing dramatic would happen in the immediate vicinity of the solar system. Despite popular belief, black holes do not act as cosmic vacuum cleaners, indiscriminately devouring everything in sight. The only significant change would be the lack of sunlight reflected by Jupiter. Oops, pop up ad, which I don't want to see. This is because the gravitational influence of a black hole is dependent on its mass. Only objects very near the event horizon would experience significant changes. The event horizon is the boundary around a black hole. Yep. The size of the event horizon, also called the Schwarzschild radius, is directly proportional to the mass of the black hole. As Jupiter is far less massive than the sun, the event horizon of a black hole with Jupiter's mass would be quite small, thus not affecting nearby planets. So I suppose in science fiction, in a yeah, collapsing gas. Yep, the collapsing gas of the gas giant will fall into it. So I think in science fiction, we really could have a black hole within our own solar system, i- as dramatic as it would be, and still have a, dare I say, functioning solar system and society, as dramatic as it would be. And I could see it becoming the new gold standard. So while the sun and its energies might be something that everyone would want to pull from, I could see a black hole. And the reason why I think many people talk about Jupiter in terms of a black hole and also Jupiter becoming a sun is because it's the most massive thing in our own solar system that has the potential to become those things. It's kind of like it's the natal version of a new star or a new black hole. Yeah, I hear you. Taste, Drew. What is it about spaghetti in particular? In particular, yeah. Um, so also, I think story wise, using a black hole for military purposes, someone either whether it's created by accident or a purpose. I think having one created in a game by accident, like no one knows how or why, but they blame each other faction, I think would also be a great storytelling element because that would be a way for players to get involved without necessarily having to pilot a ship around a black hole. but it could be like, who's to blame? How did this happen? Is this because of an outside influence? Like maybe the great signal from outside the Oort cloud in Obsidian Star deals with, you know, someone given the technology to create a black hole in the first place. And is that to help society and um help humanity move into another generation, or into its K2 civilization, or is this a way to help foster the destruction of our solar system? And what better way than a localized vacuum cleaner that we can just dump all of our unwanted individuals into it? Mr. W, did I not miss? Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, Swar's is such a great name. It means black shield in English. I did not know that. I did. I thought it was just someone's last name, but that's all right. Shay says, "Dude, seriously, won't you be destroyed if you're anywhere near a black hole? I mean, light years near? No, actually, that's the science of black holes is saying that that's not the case. So the literal event horizon is the dangerous part. Everything. So in this image right here, we have a black hemisphere, and all the energy and light around it is actually escaping the black hole. It's not getting sucked in. So it's not a cosmic vacuum cleaner like we think it used the fantasy part of it. Because we're all thinking, well, damn, if a black hole can suck in light, wouldn't anything nearby get sucked into it? And that's actually not true. It means that if you're in the event horizon, that perfectly spherical black nothingness, you will get you're just insta dead, right? You're spaghettified. Um, but if you're on the outside of it, no, you can orbit it just like a planet, like a star or a planet. It has gravity just like anything else, and you don't have to be around it. Mike, hey, we're deep diving into science fiction on the channel now. So, and we're today I just thought I talk about black holes and using them in science fiction and storytelling and that kind of thing. And Shai says, and Rothschild means red shield, but it's better not to talk about. Ooh, yeah. Schwarzschild shield. I know I'm butchering the pronunciation. Sorry about you guys over across the pond. I apologize for that. What are some? Oh. The If no one knows who created a black hole or how a black hole became maybe someone finds one in, relatively speaking, close to our solar system or somewhere out there, there may be a faction that learns how to orbit and harness the energies, and this may be a way to somewhat circumvent the without having faster than light travel. They may be able to use gravity slinging to accelerate solid objects, starships, and things like that out to places much faster than they would any other place. Because again, science is now finding out that, yeah, black holes are not the ultimate universe killers. They aren't vacuum cleaners that suck things out from light years away. That honestly, black holes sling lots of energy and matter outwards that doesn't get sucked into the event horizon. So again, yeah, create a black hole. Don't they simply arise? Uh, uh, Science says that they are created from the collapse of stars, and I could see a doomsday styled weapon that could collapse a star or something like that. Yeah, Shitlord says, yeah, the notion of manufacturing a black hole kookifies everything too. I wouldn't say. I guess creating or manufacture sounds like it's like done in a lab. Although lab grown black holes have been done, or at least this is space.com synthetic black hole matches Hawking prediction. So let's see. Lab grown black hole may prove Stephen Hawking's most challenging theory correct, and this was published in November 30, 2022. By using a chain of atoms to simulate a black hole's event horizon, so this wasn't a true black hole, researchers have shown that Hawking radiation may exist just as the late physician described. Scientists have created a lab grown black hole analog to test one of Stephen Hawking's most famous theories, and it behaves just how he predicted. Um, the experiment created by using a single file chain of atoms to simulate the event horizon of a black hole as added further evidence to Hawking's theory that black holes should emit a faint glow of radiation from virtual particles randomly popping into existence near their boundaries. What's more, the researchers found that most of the light particles or photons should be produced around the cosmic monster's edges. The team published their findings November 8th in the Journal of Physical Review Research. According to quantum field theory, there is no such thing as an empty vacuum. Space is instead teeming with tiny vibrations that, if imbued with enough energy, randomly burst into virtual particles. Particle and antiparticle pairs that almost immediately annihilate each other, producing light. Mm-mm. Cool. Talks about Hawking energy. So, and now, mind you, are we specifically, like, have the scientists literally created a black hole? No, they created an experiment to simulate a black hole. But I could listen. Human beings are pretty ridiculous in terms of the things that we involve ourselves in, and the idea of a mega weapon or a nihilistic style weapon that creates one out of enough mass, I think is even if it wouldn't be possible, I think the threat of it would be a really good storytelling element as well. Meaning, like, hey, enough individuals have been kidnapped or murder killed, or an AI program was I don't know, it was doing the math to see if it could be possible. And the PCs, those little bits of breadcrumbs of investigation lead to the fact that someone somewhere out there thinks that they can do it, and theoretically it's possible to do it, and then stopping the thing before it happens, or maybe maybe finding out that it can't happen at all, which would be kind of funny too. Although it would be like it would kind of to give it a little boom, 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 kind of like a wah wah if it doesn't happen. But I don't know, if you put that in the player if in player characters' hands, they would probably want to see if a black hole could be created. But again, how to, according to the science, this isn't me, but according to the science of there's not much difference between a black hole and a star of the same mass, right? I mean, yes, scientifically they're two separate things, and a black hole would be far much smaller than, say, our sun of the same mass. But the energies released from it, and the gravity around it, and the orbits of planets and things like that, all of that remains the same. Expelling a lot of radiation, and the relativistic jets of energy that are shooting out light years. I mean, that's different, but it wouldn't be much. It wouldn't, navigating in and around them, it wouldn't be much different at all. And I think it would just create this. It would be a disruption in science, in a science fiction setting, I think, with enough questions that the there would be enough storytelling elements for the players to be either be police, the law enforcers, and keep trying to tell people to stop messing with it. Please don't poke your finger in it. Or it could be the opposite. The players are trying to protect the borders or prevent different factions from harnessing the energies and things like that. Yeah, Mike Gould says there's an elder god who's a black hole, Hadar. But in science fiction, the idea of a sentient star is still viable. Fifth Element sort of played with this idea too, makes for a great end story enemy. Yeah, and mind you, we've been dealing with a lot of hard sci-fi, Mike. Like we are not using a black hole as a portal to another dimension. I suppose a powerful enough you would need enough energy to run an AI system, and a the energy produced from the accretion disk or the relativistic jet could power a computer system, given enough size and harnessing of that power. That may be a like how an AI or maybe even a population, a digital population wants to ascend by maybe I don't know. Let's say the moon Titan. What's a really cold place? The moon Titan or Uranus or Neptune. The ice giants. Um, have these super massive computer facilities, and they're like, no, we need even more power. Like we need we need the most power at all. So that may be a thing as well. Yeah, collapse a star. All right, it's official. Now you need to spend 1,000 hours playing Marathon, the Bungie game. Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to do that. I don't think anybody would want that to happen at all, even in our own solar system. Yeah, Mike says, or the concept of singularity as a super weapon. Yeah, weapon of mass destruction is also viable. Exactly. Yeah, multiple parties might vie for its control, destruction, or usage. Hell's yeah. And I think the idea that something could happen, even if it doesn't, is a threat. And then if it does happen, everyone's going to be pointing a finger. It'll be the triple Spider-Man pointing at each other, right? It's like, no, it's your fault. No, it's your fault. Yeah, creating a black hole would be bad for the ones who created it. I don't think they'd survive. I don't think you'd like set it set it and then forget it. I, I'm sure there's no way to like well, I don't wow, sheesh. How would you create something like that? Shai says, dude, if it were even possible to create a black hole, and we assume that in an infinite universe there will be advanced aliens who can do such a thing, they already would have. That's true. That's very true. Fermi paradox, right? It's the if it could be done, then it would have been done. Then why don't we see it? But there's lots of we're going to delve into the Fermi paradox as we normally do on the channel. Like I said, using it as storytelling elements. One of the Fermi paradox filters is that we're too young. That we've only had a civilization for like 5,000 years ish, meaning like writing, communication, dissemination of information to others around us. Some say it's only been about 4 or 5,000 years, and then reaching out into space has only been within the last 50 to 100 years, like radio signals, satellites, observing our beyond our own solar system, making those observations. So we're like, despite the Earth being around for like what did they say, like 13 billion years or something, or no, universe like 13 billion years or whatever. We're a little speck of time. So some say maybe other civilizations out there are going through the same growing pains as we are, and that we don't see them because they don't see us because we're all limited by what we can see. So that's also another filter for the firm. There's so many filters for the like reasons why we don't see each other. And of course, me, I like to take the challenge and would love, like, instead of being defeatist and going, well, I guess there's no aliens, or other communities within our own solar system, I think using the Fermi paradox as to why we don't see them is a great idea to create why we could see them. So, yeah. Yeah, Mike says, imagine a binary system where one of the stars is either collapsing or has collapsed. Now set a highly advanced yet collapsing civilization upon an orbiting world filled with wondrous advancements. Yep. Yep, that's the goal of an expeditionary force. Hell's yeah. Hell yeah. To go out there and according to all right, let's see. According to space, let's see if we can I'm going to pull this back up here. So according to the facts, where is this binary star? Um, they are particle accelerators. The gravity's the same. One type of black hole's born when when massive stars run out of fuel. And I know I just saw it. I know I read it. I know I read it. It said it's a binary star. Mm, 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 mm. Oh, here it is. Smallest, the lightest known black hole is only 3.8 times the sun's mass. It's paired up with a star. So yeah, binary star systems would make, and they say that they're not so rare, that the black holes are in the center of most galaxies, and that there are other black holes that are created from the collapse of stars and explode into supernovae and such. So yeah, the they're claiming they're not as rare. I mean, physics is saying that they're not as rare as we think they are, and they aren't the, the supermassive of vacuum cleaners. So, absolutely, I would say so. Now, Obsidian Star, the game we're working on, only takes place within our own solar system, and so the idea of accidentally running into a black hole is probably it's zero to none. But the threat of one, or an existential threat that's somewhere out in the Oort cloud, or just beyond that, that one it comes into being in some way, shape, or form. It, I'm going to ask a question here. Um, are there rogue black holes? Located about 5,200. This is Astronomy Magazine. States. So I asked a question: are there rogue black holes? And the answer that came back was located about 5,200 light years away toward the center of our galaxy. The yet to be named rogue black hole weighs in at just over 7 times the sun's mass. It's moving along at some 28 miles or 45 kilometers a second, faster than nearly all the stars in the region. That speed hints at how it formed. So black holes do move, according to astronomy. So it is possible that a rogue black hole could be coming towards us or around us or something like that. And that in and of itself, rogue black hole Wikipedia. Let's go here. And that threat could be something that might motivate humanity to say, hey, listen, there's a trillion souls here in our own solar system. Where do we just Yay, we became multi-planet. Now we need to become multi-galactic and multi-stellar, multi-system species. So how do you move a trillion people off of like eight planetary bodies, probably in the realm of hundreds to thousands of habitats, not including hundreds of moon and rocky bodies and people living on those? How do you move everyone? So, and that might be that the impetus of that might be like, listen, you ain't got to stay here, but you can't go back home. uh I could see people eating each other, figuratively, uh as they each faction comes up with its own way to figure out how to have at least the option, like an arc ship, generation ship, uh, Shikata thruster, um, by putting a giant mirror behind the sun and using the sun's photons against one side to push itself. But yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of things that could happen, and that this might be an existential threat of like, we don't want a black hole coming anywhere. We don't want it coming 3 neighborhoods away, solar system wise. So yeah, that may be a thing. So I could see that becoming um, a plot point. Hey, Des, I've experienced a rogue black hole. Not a good time. Yeah, you don't want random black holes. You want to know exactly where they are, so you have an eye on where they are, how large they are, what kind of what kind of things get sucked into them and get expelled out of them. Mike says, or a Dyson sphere built around a black hole. Yes, in uh, uh, building Dyson spheres around a black holes actually makes a lot of sense. Just it's the same thing as building a Dyson sphere around our own sun. And for those who are unaware, a Dyson sphere, Dyson didn't come up with the idea of making a solid ball. It's actually called a Dyson swarm. But whenever we think of a sphere, we think of like a tennis ball or a basketball or something that it's solid. But actually, that wasn't the intention. But the exact same thing could be built around a black hole. By you could just dump matter into it and then use the energies released from it. You would get light, but not in the same way that a star would give you light. So it might be very dim, but the radiation expelled out of it would be pretty horrendous. But I think humanity, we're pretty good. Drew says binary star systems sure do exist, but they usually have no orbiting planets. Yeah, because of the three body problem. Yeah, the scientific, not the fiction. Yes, yeah, the three body problem is. Let's look this up. Let's put in math of the three body problem. Um, in physics and classical mechanics, the three body problem is the problem with taking the initial positions and velocities or momenta of 3 point masses and solving for their subsequent motion according to Newton's laws of motion and Newton's law of universal gravitation. Unlike two body problems, the three body problem has no general closed form solution. The resulting dynamical system of three bodies orbiting each other is chaotic for most initial conditions, and in most cases, the only way to determine their positions is to calculate them using numerical methods. The three body problem is a special case of uh, the n body problem. Historically, the first specific three body problem to receive extended study was the one involving the moon, Earth, and the sun. In an extended modern sense, a three body problem is any problem in classical mechanics or quantum mechanics that models the motion of three particles. Yep. Very difficult to get their positions, but um, I'm gathering that the Earth, Moon, and Sun has such relatively stable orbits that the math was probably easier to figure out. That yeah, an artificial intestinal outlet. Yeah. The own solar system limitation is the crux of Obsidian's credibility. Yes, and that's exactly, and that's why I'm yes, I'm talking about black holes, and no, I'm not saying this to say that it should be in Obsidian's credibility. I'm saying that it wouldn't fit, but maybe there's some storytelling elements in it. So anyway, guys, thank you. Well, I'm not going to hold you guys too much longer than this, and thank you very much, shitlords, for expressing that, because I really do. I've always had a draw towards hard science fiction, and all of us are fans of The Expanse and how that show held on to and turned the hard science fiction into its own story element. And I think in tabletop role playing games, there's no reason to dodge around it. I think it's actually kind of a cool thing. And yeah, gotta go for a bio break. Yep, gotta go bio break. Gotta evacuate the black hole. um, Far better to have a relativistic jet than an accretion disk. At least the jet, you can like kind of aim it. The accretion disk, you have a whole lot of cleanup on that one. But no, but in all seriousness, also, lastly, coming up with ideas, a black hole doesn't need to be the size of Jupiter. Uh, Imagining a black hole the size of a minivan, whether it was created on purpose or by accident, whether it is being tracked through space, coming out from well beyond the Oort cloud, and there is a warning as to where it's going, what it might do. A lab, could you imagine a lab on Terra or the moon, Luna, or someplace out there, the asteroid belt or something, and scientists create it, causing an accident. And this thing's the size of a minivan, and everyone's like, "Holy!" Like they're thinking like you're thinking that this damn thing. We need to figure out how to get rid of it, eliminate it, push it away. Like maybe it's not a we want to keep it because it's gold. Maybe it's a it don't have to go home, but it can't stay here kind of thing. And there's the whole goal is of the system is to figure out how do you eliminate a black hole? Can you collapse one? Can you use some kind of weird gravitational forces to make it move? Are there like maybe we don't want it to even be here in the first place? And despite the fact that it's a tiny speck on our radars and it's not currently acting like a vacuum cleaner, it over time there will be things dumping into it just because of how the universe works. And so it could be a building threat in and of itself. Shice says, "Dude, a future space thing that's realistic, plausible, and yet cool. Obsidian is going to be a first." Well, thank you so much. Um, let me, I'm going to share one more thing because we're at the end here. I'll share a little bit of artwork or something. Do I, do I have do I have the artwork? Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Um, let's see here. Boom, boom. Oop, going the wrong way. I will share this out. Stop sharing this for a moment. I can't just switch the window. So, lastly, for a wild example of a plus body problem, look at the Trojans and Greeks. Yeah, asteroids orbiting the sun in the same orbit as Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Hey, dead man, you not only are you correct, but and I didn't know this. Uh, Earth, Mars, and many of the other planets that we actually have solid bodies within our own orbits that are ahead and behind us. So it's not like you're right. It's not just the Trojans and Greek um, solid bodies that are out there. Was like because what Deadman is saying, because he has very few characters to work with, that in the asteroid belt, there are orbits within the asteroid belt. So there are asteroids that are orbiting around each other. They're known as, if I'm not mistaken, they are kind of collectively known as asteroid families, which, side note, um, in the culture of Obsidian Star, the Asturians, they're not called Belters. I got to come up with a different name. So Asturians live out there, and they take on the last name of the asteroid families that they live in. So the collection of rocky bodies in the asteroid belt actually orbit each other while orbiting the sun, while within the orbits of the planets, which is really wild. So there are three plus body problems out there. The good thing for us is that the vast majority of those are relatively stable over intergalactically 50,000 years, a million years. They will collapse at some point, but we won't get smacked by them. But yeah, we Earth as Earth orbits the sun, there's actually a rocky body that's ahead of us that's within our own orbit that's orbiting with us. It's crazy. I love it. So right here is just I'm I'm practicing getting rid of the AI art, and so I'm coming up with some logos, and then kind of going to create some free. What do you call? What's the term for that? Um, wow, open domain, public domain stuff. So I'm coming up with some logos to represent these are the simians. Simians are zero gravity people with the based on monkeys and apes and simians and things like that. Here's something that I kind of like just practice at. It took me about 5 minutes to do it. just change grayscaled it down, threw some high tech stuff around it just to see what it would look like. And here's another one. Um, uh, Deleted the background. I don't have the most advanced. uh, I don't have the most advanced editing software, as well as the fact that I'm pretty much a luddite. I'm an old dude that's teaching myself. So just picked a background, picked an image, wanted to see what it looked like, pasted one over the other, kind of toned down and altered. Use the sliders to try to get it to look like two things are in the same space. I'm probably going to be able to superimpose some things on things like this. Maybe do some color swatchings and things. But anyway, that's some. These are some images. Thought I'd share them out. So that's all. uh, anyway, let's get rid of. Yeah, create a system that is made to implode a black hole to get rid of it. After that, create a station that will stabilize and capture the black hole uh, for terraforming or military use. See, that's what. See, I knew you would go there, and maybe for the good of all, everyone's like, maybe we don't, maybe we shouldn't have a black hole anywhere nearby. I don't know how you implode a black hole unless, I mean, if they're fed by dumping things into it, you'd have to have a way to. I don't know. I don't know. Everybody have a great one. Deadman says chimpanzees would be a more fitting base for that. I thought about that too. Yeah, using chimpanzees and things. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep, yep, yep. I agree. So you're so right. So I'll do that. So marathon. So, guys, thank you very much for being part of the show. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much for allowing me to delve into some of these topics and such. I really, I love having, uh, I love having fun with these things. What? Oh, why can't I bring this back? Okay, I gotta stop sharing and then bring back the. It won't just let me bring it back up here. So here again is the anatomy of a black hole, which the science says that these aren't giant vacuum cleaners that we think they are, and that means that they are basically energy dynamos that are extremely dangerous but really cool. So guys, have a great one. Take that bio break, crack a cold one out there for those of you across the pond, or maybe it's your breakfast or something. I will see thee tomorrow. We'll talk about Venus in Obsidian Star tomorrow, the tabletop role playing game, the 2D12 art and science role playing game that we are designing live. I'll show some more advanced information about that as well. And I didn't even I when we talked about Mercury, I didn't even talk about the quadrants that are on Mercury and the titles of the places and the habs and all that kind of stuff, which I've been investigating. It's kind of cool. I'm using real world scientists and theorists that have and missions from around the world that have delved into our own solar system and using them as honorifics for habitats, locations, um, artificial habitats, rocky bodies, um, cities, all that kind of stuff. So I'm using those. That's where I'm getting a lot of the names from. So yeah, and so absolutely, absolutely, and thank you very much there. There, Des. And thank you everybody else for being part of the show. And lastly, if you got this far, do the damn thing. Please like, share, subscribe. Uh, Click the notification bell or let somebody else know about the show, including maybe you have an enemy or so, and you're like, you know what? I'd like to let somebody know about this show that I don't like. Let them know as well. Spread the love or the hate, whatever you like. Guys, have a great one. I'll see you later. Thanks for being for allowing me to delve into something that's one of my favorites, which is science fiction, especially science fiction, science fantasy, hard science as well, and as embracing that as a storytelling element. So, guys, have a great one. I'll see you later. Peace and tranquility. Bye. Mm, 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 mm.